What's that smell?
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it. I love it. That's the signal. Let's go. Do it.
Welcome to our house, our very medium house, not in the country, for another episode of Trimming the Musical Fat, the podcast where we trim albums that are too damn long. I'm Stephen Nicholson.
And I'm Paul Nicholson.
And together with our guest, we're going to be taking our invisible scissors to Britpop's finest, Blur, and their number one album from 1995, The Great Escape. What's going to make the under 50-minute single vinyl TTMF supercut of the album? Country House, the Universal, stereotypes? Keep listening to find out. We'll also find time to share some Blur jokes, talk about seeing the band live, revisit 1995, hear archive interview snippets, debate when the band should have called it a day, and answer as many Blur questions we can in only 3 minutes. It's time to introduce our guest. He's very tender and going to be with us to the end. It's Davie Mellon. How are you, Davie?
Not bad, not bad. My hand's very tender.
Your hand's very tender.
No.
I was going to maybe, if you'll pardon the expression, probe a little further. But, perhaps best not to. So you've been enjoying listening to The Great Escape in anticipation of this?
Yeah, I've been listening to it quite a lot actually. That's a great album. It's the way music is these days. You never really listen to an album very much when you're out and about. You just everything on shuffle all the time, so you just listen to random. So it's nice to actually sit down and or walk along and listen to a full album.
Yeah, agreed. So, guys, we're talking, obviously, Blur today. So when did you become a fan of theirs? So what's the first Blur record, CD, cassette you ever bought? So, Paul, maybe start with you.
Yeah, well, the first I remember hearing Chemical World, and I remember buying the CD single actually in North Berwick.
Oh,
funnily enough, did it in like a wee local shop there. So I remember buying Chemical World, and I remember thinking it sounded a bit like I Feel Fine, the sort of guitar, like do do do. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, probably, but they were quite underground then. Yeah, so they weren't really mainstream at that point. Mm. Yeah, so Chemical World for me.
Yeah. How about you, Davie?
that's a great song, Chemical World.
It is, amazing song.
I think I only came to that after, because I think the first time I really heard them was Park. And I definitely went and got that anyway. I can't remember if I had it on tape or CD. It was right about the time when you were just changing over from tapes to CDs. So can't remember which one I got.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a tape actually. But yeah, no, I used to see the girls and boys used to be on MTV all the time and just loved it. And they soon became one of my three biggest bands of the 90s. And they keep interchanging which one's my best, depending on which album I'm listening to.
What's your other two, Davie?
I would say Radiohead and Suede.
Okay. Well, for me, I think with There's No Other Way, which was obviously a top 10 hit here in the UK. And I think, Paul, as you say, you bought the Chemical World CD single.
Yeah.
I remember you buying that. For me, I really got into them with 1994. This Park Life became one of those must-have albums. And I bought the Remember cassette singles. I bought the To the End cassette single, which didn't even come on a proper cassette cover. You know those kind of paper ones you used to get, the cardboard ones. Yeah, so that's right. So I had one of them, and I think I just heard things from Park Life. So like the title track, "Girls and Boys," and Another Century out and about in pubs and clubs and so on, and yeah, that made me eventually go out and buy. Or in fact, I think somebody bought me the Park Life album for my Christmas, and yeah, that was me hooked. Great band. Been a fan ever since. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, guys, and thanks for joining us tonight, Davie. Let's now tell all the girls and boys about The Great Escape.
Did the band feel nervous about following the success of Park Life with the new album, The Great Escape?
Not nervous, I definitely felt pressure. But that was really an inevitable thing. I think if I hadn't, I'd have been something wrong with me. But the album has sold as many as Park Life, and it's kind of done as well as that record did. The pressure's definitely there to come up with something as good, if not better.
How does The Great Escape differ from Park Life?
Well, I give you an overall picture of it being a lot darker, and the characters are definitely succumb to their darker sides.
I think this album's kind of a lot more global sounding, though. Just is. Because, you know, when we started the band, we hadn't really travelled, any of us. And you go around the world once and you realise where you come from. And then if you go around the world a few more times, you start to think about the rest of the world.
It's the tale of the tape. The Great Escape, the fourth studio album from London's Blur, released in 1995 and preceded by the UK #1 single, Country House. This was the single that went up against Oasis's Roll With It in the Britpop Battle of the Bands. Blur, on this occasion, were triumphant. Let's listen to how BBC One's 6 p.m. news reported the battle.
Two of Britain's most popular pop groups have begun the biggest chart war in 30 years. The Manchester band Oasis and their arch rivals Blur released new singles today, each hoping to reach the #1 spot next week. The music industry hasn't seen anything like it since the Beatles fought it out with the Rolling Stones in the 60s. Clive Myrie reports.
The most new music on VMR coming live from London's Oxford Street. One of many new releases today alongside Oasis. It's Blur's Country House.
It's been described as the British Heavyweight Pop Music Championship. In one corner, 4 young middle-class men from the south of England, collectively known as Blur, and in the other corner, 5 young working-class men from Manchester, called Oasis. They're the two most popular bands in Britain, having sold millions of records, and they're currently engaged in a chart war that set the music industry alight.
We are now in the golden era again of British pop music. But these are two groups, Oasis and Blur, who actually formed on the indie circuit, who have grown more and more popular through just playing lots and lots of gigs around the country, and who have now crossed right over to the public at large, and they're duking it out to see who is the biggest.
He's got morning glory and life's a different story. Everything's going Jack and Jory.
There's little love lost between the two groups, who view each other with derision. This could be dismissed as pure hype to boost record sales, but at times the put-downs have been less than friendly.
Basically, we released a single on the same day because it was either that or a punch-up. And we thought there'd be less bloodshed. We've got to get through this next single release before one of us isn't going to be talking to the other afterwards.
The last major chart war between two British bands involved the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, but their rivalry was good-natured, even down to staggering the release times of their singles to give the other a chance to be at #1. There's a long way to go before Oasis and Blur acquire musical reputations on a par with Lennon and Jagger, but acquiring next week's #1 spot could be a step in the right direction. Clive Myrie, BBC News.
6 Music.
This was the follow-up to 1994's Mercury Prize-nominated Park Life album. The album was produced by Stephen Street. The cover was photographed by Tom King and designed by Stylo Roge. There are 15 songs on it, and they are Stereotypes, Country House, Best Days, Charmless Man, Fade Away, Top Man, The Universal, Mr. Robinson's Quango, He Thought of Cars, It Could Be You, Arnold Same, Globe Alone, Dan Abnormal, Entertain Me, and Yuko and Hero. The album is 57 minutes in duration, which means we need to lose at least 7 minutes today. There were 4 singles released from the album, and they were Country House, The Universal, Stereotypes, and Charmless Man.
So how are the band enjoying the sweet taste of success?
It's affecting our own outlooks and our own lifestyles.
I think you just have to be slightly different and slightly better than everything else.
It's very easy to sort of get quite self-obsessed when you're a pop person like myself. And you can surround yourself with people who sort of tell you that you're really great and sort of try and explain things to you, you know. But you can end up thinking the world completely revolves around you.
The more success you have with doing your own thing, the more people leave you alone to get on with doing what you want to do.
So when the album came out in 1995, critically, it was met with widespread acclaim from critics. David Kavanagh in Select called it a funny, brave and heartbroken record that has everything you could want, while NME reporter Johnny Cigarettes wrote, "The Great Escape is so rammed with tunes, ideas, emotions, humour, tragedy, farce and edgy beauty that it's utterly beyond contemporary compare." Support from the music press soon tapered off, however, and The Great Escape gained many detractors. It has been suggested that the commercial success of rival band Oasis played a role in this revaluation. BBC writer James McMahon recalled how the critical euphoria surrounding the album lasted about as long as it took publishers to realise Oasis would probably shift more magazines for them. Q would issue an apology for their 5-star review of the record later. Yeah, and I know when I was kind of researching the album stuff, I think Damon Albarn says it's his least favourite record that the band released, or certainly one of the ones that he doesn't like as much.
I remember it being getting great reviews at the time. I think justified, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly remember the Battle of the Bands. I think that one made me side more with Blur, and eventually stopped listening to Oasis after that. After that second album, I completely gave up on them. Whereas Blur have just gone for strength, and Damon Albarn with Gorillaz, he's just all over the place with all the different types of music he can come with. Whereas listening to Oasis, it was just a bit more of the same.
Yeah, I think, I remember as well when the album came out and reading the reviews, and I actually remember the Q review, the 5-star review. And I think the critics fell over themselves to laud this album when it came out at the time. And I would have said at the time as well, it's their best album. But now, I think because the critics were too effusive, I think they can be quite negative about the album now, as is Damon Albarn, as you said, Paul. I no longer think it's their best album. I think their best album's Park Life, but this is still an excellent one. So, yeah, I wouldn't be negative about it. I think it's still an excellent album for me.
Do you not think, though, that it's hard to kind of see this album without seeing it all in the context of the Britpop war that was going on and the rivalry? Do you not think it's hard to sort of just see the album without seeing it in that context?
Yeah, but for me, this it more kind of ties in just with the whole music at the time. You know, that kind of the British movement, Britpop, whatever you want to call it. For me, it was just a whole part of that. So it's not just connected to that whole battle with Oasis, because I like both bands. So for me, this is great. Two of my favourite bands releasing albums within weeks of each other. Brilliant. So no, and Blur were always, and Oasis were very, very different bands anyway. So for me, no, I could keep them quite separate and enjoy them both.
The Great Escape was Blur's third biggest selling album after Park Life and Blur. And the sales for the album were 2.54 million copies worldwide. And it Park Life sold 2 million, so it just sold 400,000 copies more. So not much, only about 1% increase on Park Life. And the chart positions, got to number 1 in the UK. It starts with a 1, but it's got a 5 and a 0 after it. Number 150. 150
Wow.
Billboard.
Massive hit.
Yeah. And so in the UK, because it sold like 900,000 copies, it was 3 times platinum in the UK. And in America, it wasn't certified anything because it didn't have enough to get even gold.
It sold 4 copies.
Yeah, it's but what was interesting is the Gorillaz are much bigger in America than Blur. Than Blur ever were. I think Blur were almost too English or too British.
Yeah,
Just didn't go over, didn't translate to American audiences, apart from Song 2, possibly.
But it was the same with some 60s bands, for example, like the Kinks. The Kinks were never a big band in America because I think they had an Englishness to them that didn't translate. And I think Blur's music up to that point, wouldn't translate. Whereas with the next album, Blur, they obviously changed the sound and the style quite significantly, and that's why it was a bigger hit.
Don't think I've ever heard anything from America that sounds like Blur that you could compare it against.
No.
So I don't think they even know that type of music over there, to be fair.
No. The year in review, 1995.
So we're now going to go into the top 10 best-selling singles worldwide in that year, 1995. And at number 10 was Take a Bow by Madonna. At number 9 was Kiss from a Rose from Seal. Of course, that was in Batman film. And Bombastic by Shaggy at number 8. At number 7, You're Not Alone by Michael Jackson. At number 6, Fantasy by Mariah Carey. At number 5, Waterfalls by TLC. At number 4, One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men. At number 3 was Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman by Bryan Adams. At number 2 was Back for Good, Take That. And the number 1 selling single worldwide for 1995 was Gangster's Paradise by curate. Thoughts on that, guys?
I think Davie will be happy. Mariah's got 2 songs in there.
2 songs in there. Boom. Take that.
Sound good. Baby, it's all in your mind.
Who were number 2?
Yeah.
I think that's a great top 10. I know all those songs. Like usually when you come here, you like, it's all right, because it's usually the albums are usually a bit older, so you weren't really around at the time. But I remember the 95 very well, and the music was there. And it's a great time for music.
Yeah,
It's a strange top 10. A few of the entries anyway, but like Take It by Madonna, obviously a big seller. I think it was number 1 in America for a good number of weeks. And
it wasn't here though, was it?
but here it was
a
our first song not to go top 10 here in
Is that the one with
over 10 years.
The Matador?
Yeah, it's a brilliant song.
It's an even better video.
Oh yeah, well yeah. But
It's a cracking video.
It's one of Madonna's greatest songs. But yeah, it never even went top 10, which I found bizarre. And the Bryan Adams song, I never would have thought that was one of the biggest sellers of that year.
Yeah, no, it was in that film. Was it Don Juan?
Oh yeah, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to be, and even Take That being number 2. That's quite.
Yeah, surprising. Can't argue with the number 1 song though. Classic.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Live. been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. They've been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise.
Great tune.
Oh, very good song.
Yeah.
And that was in the films Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds.
Yeah,
Never seen that.
Either have I. Michelle Pfeiffer. Seen the video loads of times. Feel like I've
Yeah,
watched the movie because I've seen that video.
I know, I've seen the video. So we'll now move on to the top 10 best-selling albums of 1995. So at number 10 was These Days by Bon Jovi. At number 9 was Anthology 1 by the Beatles. At number 8 was Crack for Your View by Hootie and the Blowfish. At number 7 was Pulse by Pink Floyd. At number 6 was Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, the Smashing Pumpkins. At number 5 was History Part 1 by Michael Jackson. At number 4 was Bruce Springsteen's Greatest Hits. At number 3 was What's the Story Morning Glory by Oasis. And at number 2, Davie's favourite, Daydream by Mariah Carey.
Yes.
And at number 1 was Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
You're going to see her shortly, aren't you, Davie?
I think it's October, November, I think. She's playing a Jagged Little Pill in full in the Hydro.
That's right,
Yeah, that'll be brilliant. That'll be brilliant. But well, I'm going to do some shameless plugging here because obviously we've got Bruce Springsteen in there. So we've obviously done a podcast on the River album by Bruce Springsteen, and also Oasis. We did Be Here Now. So if you haven't listened to them, make sure you do. And we are definitely going to be doing the Smashing Pumpkins album before Halloween. See what we did there. So we're going to be doing that one, and I not Jagged Little Pill, but probably in the new year I would like to do the follow-up Alanis Morissette did to that supposed former infatuation junkie. That's easy to remember. So yeah, I'd like to do that one in the new year. So hopefully we will. But yeah, some good albums in there these days. In fact, these days would be worth doing an episode on, I have to say. Yeah.
What was on that?
The singles of that were The Saint of Love
Trying
song.
County, was that on it?
That was the one before.
Keep the Faith.
But yeah, Lie to Me, The Saint of Love song, Something for the Pain.
Bleeding or something.
Was that?
That was a single. Then, yeah.
And the first song, whatever. Hey God.
That's right.
Yeah, but no, there's some great stuff on there, but too many mid-pace songs, and it could have done with losing a couple of them. So yeah, that'd be a good one to do, actually, Paul.
You got the Pink Floyd live album as well.
That's right, yeah, Pulse. Is that the one that was like disco lights on the front, the cover?
It had like a wee blinking light.
That's right, yeah.
On the side of it. So
yeah, I remember my friend John, when you visit his house, that's all you could see, that bloody light blinking at you when you were sitting there.
And it's got Comfortably Numb played to its best.
Right.
Okay.
Full extended guitar solo at the end rather than the chopped off one that you get in the wall. Which you've also done a podcast on, have you not?
Well, nice link, Davie. Yes, funnily enough, we did The Wall. Yes, so check that out, everyone.
Okay, so now going to the top 10 grossing movies of 1995. All right. So at number 10 on the list was Jumanji, starring Robin Williams. At number 9 was Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner. At number 8, Casper, the Ghost, starring Christina Ricci. At number 7 was appropriately the film Seven by Brad Pitt. And at number 6 was Apollo 13, starring Bill Paxton. Number 5 was Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer. Number 4 was Pocahontas, starring Irene Bedard. At number 3 was GoldenEye, starring Pierce Brosnan. At number 2 was Toy Story, starring Buzz Lightyear. And at number 1, top grossing movie of 1995 was Die Hard with a Vengeance, starring Samuel L. Jackson.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Great film.
Yeah. Actually, a very, very good top 10.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say number 10 was again?
Jumanji.
Jumanji. I've never seen that. Is it any good?
It's good, actually, yeah.
It's decent, yeah. The boys like it.
Young Kirsten Dunst, isn't it?
That's right, yeah, it's good. It's good. I've never seen Motorworld.
It's not as bad as they make out.
I've never seen that either, no.
Was it like the most expensive flop at the time?
Yeah.
120 million. And it was...
I remember watching Casper on a plane somewhere.
Never seen that.
Seven's a classic, amazing movie. Although I won't use naughty words. Some person spoiled the twist at the end for me before I saw it. Which is stuff in there. Apollo 13's excellent. Batman Forever's decent. Goldeneye, very good film. Toy Story's an absolute classic, and yeah, Die Hard 3 there is excellent as well. So yeah, by and large, an excellent top 10 there.
I think 7. Like I didn't see it in the cinema. I watched it. I think I got the DVD. I just sitting watching it. And I thought it's all right. It's just it's not brilliant. It's just your run of the mill cop movie, and then Kevin Spacey handed himself in. I was like, hold on a minute, what's going on here?
Officer.
After this, I'm gone.
No big surprise.
Detective!
You're looking for me.
And then repeat viewings after that, it's just been outstanding. But I thought it was pretty generic for the first until that happened. I thought, right, okay, very good. But now in subsequent watching, it's like, that's a totally great movie.
It was like an onion, Davie, and it has layers.
Yeah, it is it's a real twist, though, isn't it? And so they had a really good chemistry, actually, didn't they? Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, chemistry in it.
And that's when we were still allowed to like Kevin Spacey as well.
Yes,
that's right.
Not anymore.
And
Spacey is cancelled.
And the first Bond film, of course, for 6 years.
I've never seen that in the cinema either, actually.
Yeah, we saw that at Odeon. It's like I'm plugging Odeon here, but yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
A lot of good films there, actually. I think I've seen probably 3/4 of them at the cinema, actually.
I seen 1, 2, 3, only 3 of them at the cinema, actually, which is a pretty poor showing for me, since I would normally go and see as many movies as possible. But yeah, there's a few there that I missed out on. But yeah, I remember seeing Goldeneye.
Okay, and we're going to go on to events that happened in the year 1995. So this one's, I'm sure that one that we'll remember the first one. Eric Cantona, the French international footballer, assaults a spectator after being sent off while playing for Manchester United against Crystal Palace in the English Premier League.
Linesman Eddie Walsh, which helped him. Oh, what's going on here? Cantona's getting involved with some supporters. Oh, this is outrageous. Norman Davies, the Manchester United hitman, trying to pull him away. It's all got wildly out of hand, and once more, Eric Cantona is the man at the centre of a dramatic controversy.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I was on my school ski trip in France at the time, and just remember hearing another, like, he's done what?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it was anyway.
Yeah, I remember just seeing it on the news and everything kicking off the day afterwards there. And I mean, I'm a Man U fan. I was obviously just down at Old Trafford two weekends ago to watch them play, and Eric Cantona was my favourite player. And I mean, he's one of my favourite all-time players. Amazing, but yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Do you remember in the paper the next day they had a picture of the guy that he'd done the karate kick on, and the guy's like showed a picture of the wound, and he's like,
Aye.
I just said to him, "You're a bad French player."
No, it was like, ha ha. You're very silly for being sent off. I'm like, yeah, right. He said that. But remember the game where he came back? It was against Liverpool, and he scored the penalty.
Oh, he did.
So Cantona, 70 minutes into his comeback. 2-2.
How many games was he banned for? Was it like 8 months or something?
8 or 9 or something. Yeah. What a player. Ua Cantona.
This year, yeah, the US President Bill Clinton made a historical visit to Northern Ireland.
Stopping off for some cigars.
To the Lord Mayor and Lady Mayoress, let me begin by saying to all of you, Hillary and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making us feel so very, very welcome in Belfast and Northern Ireland. This has been a wonderful way for us to begin the Christmas holidays.
That was quite momentous, that period, wasn't it? Because I don't think that happened for a long time. And it was part of, like, was it the peace process just before that, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it was quite an historical visit that kind of united everyone in the country there together for the visit, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one's a sad one, actually. It's the Oklahoma City bombing, and it was 168 people, including 8 federal marshals, and 90 children were killed in the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh and one of his accomplices, Terry Nichols, set off the bomb.
A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City, shattering that building, killing children, killing federal employees, military men, and civilians.
Mm-hmm. That's right, because there was an employee crash on site there, wasn't there? Yeah, which is why there was, the children were killed. Yeah, sad.
That's that bit done.
That was a nice cheery one to end it on, though, Paul. Well done.
I should have finished with a Cantona one or something. Getting a karate kid.
Hey, let's talk music now.
I'm going to run for a wee, okay? Give me a second. You can keep that in if you want.
Oh, I will. You better not keep it in or there'll be an accident. Drink your coffee and turn off your TV. It's time to trim the talk. The feature where we're all asked the same questions and have to answer them all in 3 minutes or less. So, guys, let's go.
3 minutes start now.
So, Davie, describe Blur in 3 words.
Legends of Britpop.
Oh.
Okay. Indie, commercial, English.
For me, British, Mockney, daring. Have you seen them live, Davie?
Yep, seen them once in the Barrowlands 5 years ago.
Yes, I've seen them once in 1999.
I've seen them twice. Once in Glasgow in 96 and in Edinburgh in 1999. Favourite Blur album?
Parklife.
Parklife, clean sweep. Favourite Blur song?
Favourite Blur song? Oh, God. I'll go with Parklife. I'll change it.
Song 2.
Chemical World. Favourite member of the band?
2 minutes left.
Damon Albarn.
Phil Daniels. No, David Albarn.
Graham Coxon. What were guests doing at the time of the release? So September 1995.
I was in high school. Fourth year, something.
I was actually working, just starting to work beside Davie's dad.
Oh.
That's right, at that time.
Philly.
That time.
I was coming back from a holiday from Kos, I think, the week it came out. When and where did you first hear the album?
Probably in my bedroom after I bought it.
Yep.
When it came out.
I heard it because you'd bought it, Stephen, so I always thought the back of it was really cheesy, the cover. Anyway.
1 minute remaining.
Yeah, for me, after coming back from holiday, we stopped off in Newcastle, and I'm pretty sure I bought it there. So either then heard it in the car coming back from Newcastle or on my CD player at home. Favourite track from the album?
He thought of cars.
The Universal?
The Universal for me. Least favourite track from the album?
Oh, I can't remember which one I got rid of.
30 seconds to go.
Oh, you Top Man, I think. Or yeah.
Aye, Top Man. No, it was
Stand
Globe
Up
Alone.
Normal?
Globe Alone.
Globe Alone. All right, okay.
All right, maybe it's Colonel saying.
Mine's is Top Man. Album rating out of 5.
4.5.
3.5.
4 from me. So good. And we've done that in the 3 minutes, guys. So thank you for that. Let's stick with it and maybe just once give me your kind of an overview and your thoughts on the album. So Davie, we'll start with you.
Well, I actually thought what my favourite Blur song is, and it's "This Is a Low."
Yeah, great song.
Yeah. No, so the album when it came out, it was like always remember quite an iconic video of the ex-Page 3 Sun models just dancing about the country house.
Yeah.
Where it's like Keith Allen. But no, just hearing the music, it was just continued on from what they started with. Park Life, or technically where Modern Life is rubbish, but it was much more in the vein of what was before, and I think I just loved it.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the album?
Thoughts on the album. I haven't listened to it again. I think it's a really good album, actually, and I've not listened to Park Life for a long time, probably years. But I was quite impressed, actually, listening to it again, and I remember, like, say, that summer when the video came out, I think it's one that they regretted. It's almost like a scene from Benny Hill. You know, the video for Country House. And I remember Roll With It coming out, and Blur beat Oasis in the singles, but I think Oasis beat Blur in the album. So I just remember that being around at that point when the album came out.
Yeah.
What about you, Stephen?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one because it is really, I think, a concept album about loneliness and detachment. And we obviously talked about what the critics thought initially and how it's maybe been downvalued since, maybe a little bit unfairly. But yeah, it's an excellent album. It's probably got 3 or 4 songs too many on it. However, there's good variety on there. When you think about the different musical styles, they're pop, music hall, punk, ballads, etc. So there's great variety on it, which I love, and the music that I like. There's some lovely strings on the likes of Best Days and the Universal. And one of the things that really jumped out at me revisiting it is how good the kind of harmonies and backing vocals are on it. They're exquisite. They really are excellent. So I've really been enjoying revisiting the album. But yeah, it's quite funny because obviously, yeah, it's about loneliness and detachment when you look at the lyrics and so on, but a lot of the music's at odds with that, because when you think of the album, you actually think of it being quite jaunty, don't you? So it's it's quite interesting, but yeah, excellent.
A bit like Born in the USA with Bruce Springsteen. It's like one of these absolute rock anthems, but when you actually look at the lyrics, it's like, no, it's just about war, destruction, how people have just been made a fool of, and it's but no, I like the album because it's got quite a lot of good orchestration on it, and quite a lot of songs use the trumpet, and there's just not enough of trumpets in music these days.
Yeah, trumpets, horns, and everything. Yeah, agreed. So we've all seen Blur in concert. So I'll maybe start with you on this one, Paul. So you seen them? Did you go to the Corn Exchange?
Yeah, it was a Corn Exchange.
Not being.
I think me, you and Alison.
All right. I was going to say I don't remember you being at that with me.
Obviously made a big impression. It was the very first. In fact, I've never been back since, but it was the opening of the Corn Exchange as a venue.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. That night, it literally opened the night before because you could smell the paint.
That's right. They were struggling to get it finished. What do you remember about it? Because this was for Blur. I mean, at this point, Blur are an arena/stadium act here in the UK, and suddenly they're playing this 3,000 standing new venue, and we were quite near the front as well. It was brilliant. Yeah. What do you remember about it?
I just remember I really liked the idea, them doing all the singles in order, because I like things in structure and order and stuff. So I really liked that they did all the singles. I just thought it was because I've never been to a gig, and I've never been to one since actually. So it was really good just having all the singles, and particularly as it's the first time that I'd seen, first and only time to date that I've seen them.
Yeah.
So,
Phil Daniels didn't come out and do Park Life, did he?
I can't remember.
I'm sure somebody said he did, but I don't remember that at all.
Think so.
Sounds like you'd been drinking as much as I was at that Radiohead gig, Steve.
I'm sure I was. Was I not driving that night, Paul? I don't know.
You were on stage. You were doing the Park Life.
Oh, I was doing the Park Life. But yeah, no, it was brilliant. Just
I think
doing
you
all
were
the
driving. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sure it was. I just, but yeah, doing all the singles and what was nice about it, you knew what was coming up next. Like, yes, Chemical World's next, or yes, it's the Universal's next, or Tender or whatever. So yeah, it was good. So that was the only time you seen them, Davie. You seen them 5 years ago, you said.
Yeah, they were in the bars in Glasgow. It was the Magic Whip tour, which is a great album, I think. Even just listened to it a few times recently, and it still stands up there. But they did all the Rhodes old songs, and that was a great gig. I'm kind of disappointed I never seen them in their heyday in the 90s, 2000s. I basically wasted my 20s by never going to any gigs. I can just look back at it like, what are you thinking? There's so many opportunities, but it was always usually in Glasgow, and miss out at the Corn Exchanges. It's unforgivable.
Well, on the plus side, when you've seen them at the Barrowlands, you're seeing them at probably the best concert venue in the world.
Oh, it's outstanding. And you can always get right up the front, no problem. Maybe about 2 or 3 rows behind them, and he's chucking water at you all the time. And Alex James just looking cool as a hen, smoking a fag, playing his bass.
Yeah, it's a brilliant venue. I've seen so many of my favourite shows at the Glasgow Barrowlands. It's fantastic. I mean, I've seen them one additional time, which was on the Great Escape Tour, which was at the Glasgow SEC in November 1995, and I actually don't remember much about it. I just remember, like most concerts at the SEC, the sound quality was really swampy. That's a horrible venue for sound quality. But I just remember the sound quality not being the greatest, and Damon Albarn jumping around a lot, and that you're talking about the horns and the trumpets. Davie, just remember Mr. Robinson's Quango was great, because that kind of cut through the sound problems with the horns, and that really kind of rocks. That was good. But no, it was a good show. It was a good show.
Where was that about? Did you say?
Where about?
Yeah.
That was the Glasgow SEC.
Oh, the SEC. I've only been there for one gig.
Yeah.
It's been the Hydro ever since.
The Hydro's a million. Yeah, the Hydro's a million times better. Yeah, a million times better. But yeah, no, it was good to see them on that tour. Obviously, I feel like the height of their probably popularity in the UK. So it was good. Yeah, it was.
Used to be like, I remember the Blur fan club back in the day.
Were you?
And it was like 15 quid a year, and you got like a proper magazine like every quarter, and they used to give you like fan club only singles at Christmas. That was
cool.
Great. Wish I still had them, but I eventually sold them on eBay for about a couple of £100.
I know.
Wish I still had them now.
I know. It'd be worth a bit more than that now.
Especially the fan club singles, because I don't think
Yeah.
you can even get them on iTunes.
Yeah. Was it CDs or vinyl?
CDs.
CDs.
So, I think one of them was like called Close, I think, and then they had like a demo version of Death of a Party.
Ah, cool.
One year, and it was just like used to get that every Christmas. It was great.
What a tune that is! Death of a Party from the Blur album. That's my favourite song in that album, I have to say. Death of a Party. Tune. Yeah. Time to cut down on our pork life and get some exercise by laughing at some Blur jokes. So, Davie, maybe start with you.
Well, it's not really a joke. It's more of an observation, because I actually have park life as my alarm clock when it goes off in the morning. So it wakes me up every single day, except for Wendy's, when I'm rudely awakened by the dustbin.
I think about leaving the house.
I remember, Davie, going to the Blur gig in 1999 at the Corn Exchange, and someone stole my glasses, and the rest of the night was just a blur. There's no other way to do it. We need to trim the fat from The Great Escape. For this, for selection, we're including all the songs that featured on the original 1995 release, plus the original B-sides from that time. All are included on the 2016 special edition re-release of the album. So before we get to the songs, let's discuss the album cover. So the album cover is blue sky, speedboat in the foreground there, with either a man, probably a woman, who's dived off it just into the ocean, and all you see is their legs and feet. There's two men look on, and you've got the band name and the album title at the top of the cover. What do you think of it, guys?
Yeah, I like it. It's got the iconic Blur logo on it, which I think is really good. That's just an eye-catching album cover. I like it.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I really like. I like the blue colour, and I like the title as well. It's quite a good title. What I don't like though is the back. I know it's like a joke, but it's just a bit, when they're like pretending they're like office workers.
Yeah. I mean,
it's good. It's been a while since I've seen the back of it.
I was.
It's in a cupboard somewhere.
I was the same. I just seen it online the other day, and I'd totally forgotten about it. But yeah, for me, I really like it. It's very striking. It was very eye-catching when it came out because of the blue and the band logo being in yellow on it there. It obviously brings meaning to it as well, The Great Escape, and it's all about escaping the mundane. Can you say it? Mundanity, mundane. Am I saying that right? Mundanity?
Mundaneness.
Mundanity.
Use it in a sentence.
I know. Escaping the mundanity of life.
The mundane of life. Nah, it wouldn't be mundanity, should it?
Yeah, must be.
That's a word.
Mundanity.
I think Dictionary Corner would be pulling you up on that one, I think.
I'm typing it in. Mundanity.
Susie Dent will be...
Let's see. It is a real word. Noun form of mundane.
Right.
So get it up, yes. Mundanity is a real word. So yeah, I'll kick back in. Yeah, so I think the
mundanosity.
Mundanosity, but it's about the mundanity of life, and The Great Escape is obviously escaping that, and I think the cover's maybe showing going away on holiday in the sunshine and obviously diving off the boat into the ocean. And I think the back, where it's got the band dressed up like office workers, Wall Street traders, again is a play in that, and maybe the mundanity, there's that word again, of maybe a boring office life and so on. So no, it's clever. I like it, and I think the front cover's very eye-catching.
I think that'll be them trapped in the rat race on the back.
Yes. There we go. That's exactly what it probably is. So let's talk about the songs. So the way we work this is to get onto the TTMF supercut of the album. At least two of us needs to want a song to appear on it. So by and large, most of the songs selected were unanimous choices, but some were only selected by two of us. Okay, guys, so let's go with the first song that is making our cut of the album, and it was the third single that was released from it, and it's the opening track on the album, and it is Stereotypes.
There must be more to life. All your life you're dreaming, and then you start dreaming. From time to time you know you should be going on another adventure.
So that was Stereotypes. Paul, maybe start with you. What do you think about it? So I should mention as well, all three of us selected this for the album. What do you think of it, Paul?
It's a really good song, and it's a great opener for the album. And I remember, I think I bought quite a few of the CD singles off this album as well when it came out. But yeah, it's just a really good, catchy song that's a mixture of, it's commercial, but in another way it's not. It sounds a bit like the sort of keyboard, a bit almost like 60s style.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a good example of what Blur is, I suppose. But no, I think it's a really good opener and a really good song. Yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at the lyrics, it seems to be a randy wife up to no good in the suburbs. But yeah, I think it's a decent song. I think the good guitar sound and riff to kick off the album. It's a song I used to like more, just like it a little bit less now. And what I didn't realise until recently, it was meant to be the first single from the album, but the crowd reacted better to Country House in a kind of practice show. So the band changed their mind and released Country House instead. So, Davie?
Yeah, no, it's a great opening song to the album. It's a perfect opening song, in fact. I really like it, but I know a lot of Oasis fans, this is one of the songs they used to try and slag Blur off compared to their mighty Oasis.
Oh, really?
Because I think you get quite a lot of the Mockney accent coming out during the song, but no, I think it's a great song.
Yeah, okay. So, the second song that makes it on to the supercut is another unanimous choice, and it is the number one single from the album, and it is Country House. So let's give it a play.
Watching afternoon repeats and the 38s in the country. He takes a manner of pills and piles up animal spells in the country. Oh, it's like an animal farm, that's a rural charm in the country. He's got morning.
Fair play. Let's watch a wee bit of that video there.
I knew you were watching that on YouTube.
Thinking fair play. Okay, guys, that was Country House. Maybe start with you this time, Davie.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of my favourite songs of Blur. I know it's probably not stood the test of time as much as people have thought. I think the band themselves have really started to enjoy playing it again in their most recent live shows, when they'd kind of given up because I thought it was just a bit too commercial. But no, it's brilliant. It's got all the orchestration in there is brilliant. I just remember watching the news every night trying to find out how the battle was going, who sold more, who sold less. I think Blur ended up winning it by about 60,000 sales. But I don't know how much that can be contributed that they released two CD singles, like one with the B-sides and the other one with the live versions of the song. So they kind of cheated a wee bit, but I don't know how that much would have impacted it because it was about 270,000 I think they sold to 210 or something.
I believe Oasis blamed the barcode error and roll with it as well.
Okay.
But then they would. Okay, thanks, Davey. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's a really catchy song. And obviously things like the video are not, obviously, I haven't aged very well. And I suppose, the world we live in now. But I just think it's a really catchy song. And it's funny that I think of Roll With It from Oasis, because like David was saying there, he sold more copies. So, but I think it's a really good song and it's catchy. And it just keeps that, because I suppose for me, like the second, third and fourth album are almost like a trilogy really. And then after that it changes. So it just, for me, it's like, this is the last part of that trilogy, and these songs are all fairly similar on the 3 albums.
Yeah, I think for me, we've mentioned already, but it's hard to separate this from all the excitement of the chart battle with Oasis and obviously experience it at the time. I did go out and buy the Oasis single. I did go out and buy both of the Blur singles. I mean, I know the song's got its detractors, but I really like it. It's catchy, it's fun, it's got a great introduction, and the harmonies on it are really great. You know, the blow me out, I am so sad, I don't know why. Brilliant. And did you know that the song is allegedly about Blur's ex-manager, who quit after making money out of them and then going on to live in a house, a very big house in the country?
Right.
Apparently so, yeah. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I love the story, so let's just stick with it.
Here's a quiz question for you. Who was the page 3 model that starred in the video?
Joe Guest.
Yep. You know, Paul. Straight away. There wasn't even a minute.
Once seen, never forgotten. All right. So let's move on to the next song, which is another unanimous choice. And this one is the third track on the album, and it is Best Days.
Take me home. Other people wouldn't like to hear you if you said that these are the best days of our lives. Other people turn around and laugh at you if you said that these are the best days of our lives.
Are you dying? Are you dying on us, Davey?
I was using the break for a coughing fit.
Okay, so that was Best Days. So since Davey's coughed a lung out there, we'll maybe start with you, Paul.
Yeah, it's a really good song. Like I say, it's just showing that versatility that Blur have. And a nice ballad. No, just the sequencing's quite good as well on the album. After having songs, it's kind of went down a wee bit for the third song. So yeah, good song.
Yeah, for me, this is one of my favourites on the album. In fact, I would argue it's one of Blur's greatest songs. Obviously about for me, being about being in your 20s and them meant to be the best times of your life, and perhaps being disillusioned with that. Yes, it's a beautiful song, but a cynical one. I love that descending guitar line from Graham Coxon at about 1 minute 40 in. It just seems to keep going. And they repeat that again about the 3 minute mark, but they put a great piano solo over it with some beautiful strings coming in to accompany it. So yeah, one of the highlights of the album. Davey, what about you?
Yeah, no, it just it goes to show the versatility that they've got. Like they can come out with like banging tunes, like real grunge music, or they can have real ballads there, and it shows you like he's got a decent vocal range, Damon, as well.
Mhm.
With his, even though you can understand he's a Cockney, he's still got a good vocal range.
Yeah, true. Okay, guys, the next one, and yet again, we're all in unison on this one. Everybody selected it for their album, and it is Charmless Man.
I met him in a crowded room where people go to drink away their gloom. He sat me down and so began the story of a charmless man, educated the expensive way. He knows his Clara from his Beaujolais. I think he'd like to have been running cray, but then nature didn't make him that way. He went na 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 na. He sat me down.
So began
the story of
a charmless man. I'll maybe kick us off for Charmless Man. So apparently the inspiration for this was a visit by Damon Albarn to his grandmother in Lincolnshire, and he stopped off at Grantham railway station and went inside the gents' toilet, and inside there he noticed a piece of graffiti on a similar theme to the song's title, and that's where it all derived from. But coming back to that, The Great Escape review by Q Magazine back in 1995, I remember in particular they flipped out over the song when reviewing it and said there was just, I think they used words like, it's just gorgeous or something like that. I always thought it was a decent song when the album came out. I actually like it more now. I do tend to hear it a lot on the radio still, on Absolute Radio in the 90s. And I like the la 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 la. So yeah, big thumbs up from me. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, it's a really good song. I remember, because you had the album, it's interesting when you have an album and singles are released off it after you've heard them, and sometimes it can go either way. Sometimes you really like a song after it's been released as a single, it can go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And for this one, I think it's probably went the opposite way. I really liked the song, but then it became a single. But it's good. I mean, it always reminded me a bit of Mamma Mia by ABBA. The bit that bit was almost Mamma Mia, you're a go wicked. So it always made me think about ABBA. But yeah, good. And it's another example of that diversity in the band as well. Like different styles of music. So no, it's good. Good song.
So Davie, Charmless Man, the song, not you, I should add.
I'm a charming man. This charming man. That's what I always thought. That was they were not always like big fans of the Smiths as well. So
yeah,
there's been a wee bit of a play on that. This charming man,
definitely.
But no, I absolutely love it. It's definitely my top 10 of Blur songs of all time. Got the CD, got the singles. It's just fast paced. It's really catchy. The good Graham Coxon's the height of his powers on this album, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, thank you. I'll maybe stick with the songs that we all picked unanimously. So let's go to the next one, which is my favourite on the album, and it is, and Paul's as well, which is The Universal.
Says tomorrow's your lucky day. Well, here's your lucky day. It really, really, really could happen. Yes, it really, really, really could happen. If the days they seem to fall for you, well, just let them go.
So that was The Universal. Davey, maybe start with you.
Yeah, whenever I hear that song, it always just gives me like a big warm feeling, like I'm sat in front of a gas fire. Wait, that's saying the British gas advert, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
I know, it's a great point, isn't it? This is where advertising, where you think, now it ruins it. I know, because it's like now you associate that song with British gas. Yeah.
To be fair, normally when they use songs on adverts, you get tired of hearing them. You're like, right, I've had enough of that song. But hearing that song, it's like every time you hear it, it's like, what an absolute tune that is.
Absolutely.
Like the orchestration on it is phenomenal. I could listen to that on repeat for 24 hours, no problem.
Yep.
And the video itself for it, the Clockwork Orange, Grover Milk Bar.
Yep.
It was kind of like their version of Just by Radiohead. We just got these random subtitles appearing. Like, how does this relate to what's going on? That's an absolute top notch. I would like to change my answer from the previous one about He Thought of Cars.
You can.
This is my favourite song.
I'm glad you've made the right choice there, Davie, and join me and Paul. Well done. Well done. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, it's a brilliant song. It's I really like the orchestration, and what's really nice is the female backing singers doing the harmonies. It's really nice. But I certainly never really associated with Blur, really. So that was nice to have that, and it's a really catchy song and a nice ballad.
Yeah.
And good. And I wonder, you were talking about the Charmless Man, and Universal. That's a song, of course, by the Small Faces, and they were a real sort of London band as well. So I wonder if there was a bit of a thing there with the song title as well.
Maybe. I mean, this song, and you'll actually find quite a number of the songs in the album kind of reference the lottery, which had just recently started, the Lotto in the UK. Yeah, exactly. So, and this is another one which I think referenced that about the lottery and everyone believing tomorrow's their lucky day when it probably isn't, but everybody's still keeping that optimism going. Always keeping believing. But yeah, for me, the best song on the album, one of their all-time greatest songs. There's the beautiful Burt Bacharach-like strings on it. And here's an interesting fact. Do you know it was originally written as a ska track?
Yeah, I was in that today. I'd love to see what that was like, having Suggs singing it. Or, the specials covering it.
I just can't even think how that would even go.
That's a fan club single that we need.
Yeah, I was just trying
a demo version.
I was just trying to think how that would even sound, and it just all I could come up with is just wrong. Anywho, let's move on then to what would be the start of side 2 on vinyl, and it's another unanimous choice. This Mr. Robinson's Quango.
Oh, Mr. Robinson and his Quango. Dirty dealer, expensive car, runs the buses and the evening star. We got a herpes, we got herpes. His private life is very discreet, a nicer man, no, you're never gonna meet. Well, he's a self-professed saviour of the dim right, ringing a respiratory problems and a masonry.
Okay, that was Mr. Robinson's Quango, and I'll maybe kick us off with this one. With maybe a fact. Did you know this was the first song recorded for the album? Oh. There you go. So, yeah, it seems to be about, I would presume, a right-wing MP, so a wealthy Tory MP, and he's ill-gotten gains in life by the sounds of it. Good tune. I think nice horn riffage on it. Lots of energy. I like the ska influence bit in the middle 8. And really good kind of driving force to the song. And I like how it ends. This song kind of ends, fades away, and leading into the next song. He Thought of Cars. That's great how those two songs interconnect. Davie?
Yeah, I like this. It's almost like it's the death throes of Tory Britain was coming to an end, and this sort of kind of like highlighted it. It was all coming to an end. Which it did like 2 years later, and I think, for me, the Tories were there the whole of my life up until that point, and it was signalling a good times ahead.
Yeah. Okay, Paul?
Yeah, it's a really good song. I like that in some ways the music behind it's all almost like everything bar the kitchen sinks put in there. It's all boom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like there's so much music at the same time and a lot of instrumentation.
Lots of trumpets in there, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
There is, yes, yeah, and there is a bit though where the vocals, and I know David Bowie did it as well. Sometimes they overplay the sort of Mockney accent a bit.
And he's Quango!
You know, I think they sort of overplay it.
Jesse Dailings.
At times as well.
Hmm.
I suppose that's the trademark, but yeah, I'm just aware of that listening to that song. Yeah. And he's Quango.
Okay, so that song ends and it leads directly into the next song, which thankfully we all picked, which is He Thought of Cars.
Save us, the space invaders. He thought of cars and where to drive them, who to drive them with. But there was no
That was He Thought of Cars. So, Paul, maybe start with you in this one.
It's okay. It's maybe, I suppose we're almost halfway through the album now. It's a bit of a bit of a bland song. After having quite a lot of good songs up to
How dare you?
What?
How dare you?
That's my opinion.
And you're sticking to it.
I am, yeah.
Okay, I'm guessing, Davie, you are in disagreement with my brother.
Aye, absolutely.
You're wrong. I'm always right.
This is like just Graham Coxon coming right out and doing what he does the best, and just the guitar in there is just brilliant. And when you asked me earlier, it was my favourite song on the album until we just listened to the Universal there. But no, it's outstanding. It's kind of like it reminds me of This Is a Low as well.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of tempo going in it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it certainly is. So yeah, for me, it's a great song. I think you're spot on with the guitar on it there. I love the intro with that kind of scratchy guitar build in. It is superb, the first 30 seconds. And also when actually everything else drops out of the song around just under the 3-minute mark, and you just have kind of the lead guitar and the acoustic guitar, superb. Yeah. And I love the squelchy kind of keyboard. I don't know if it's horns or a keyboard or what, but a squelchy kind of sound when the main guitar riff kicks in and you hear, la, 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 la. Yeah, it's a brilliant song. Love it. Who needs blur? We'll just do it, Davie. Yeah, I mean, and the song itself seems to be about the collapse of the Western world, the advancement of technology, and daydreaming of escaping it, which obviously ties into the name of the album. Okay, so the final song we all agreed on, and this is the 8th track that makes the album, is It Could Be You. So we will give it a listen now.
Oh, that's it. You've blown it. All we want is to be happy in our homes like happy families. Be the man on the edge of the world and his fake kisses. Could be you.
All right, guys, that was Could Be You. I'll maybe kick us off on this one. It's obviously another song about the lottery, because obviously It Could Be You was the original lotto slogan here in the UK. And then the song seems to be about giving false hope to the working class while the rich take advantage. As a song, yeah, catchy, straight ahead pop song, great guitar again from Graham Coxon. Yeah, I really like it. And this was the last song recorded for the album. Davie?
It's a great song. It's quite powerful. I love the guitars on it. Again, I think Graham Coxon's at the top of his form in this album. And it's probably the best song about the lottery you'll ever find.
Paul?
Yeah, it's a really good song, really catchy, and a good melody as well, because it combines that.
It gives you the hope of that you're actually going. This is how you feel buying a lottery ticket. Like you're going to win all this money, and you're not going to have to worry again. And I think this song, like the way they construct it, it sort of feels like that.
Okay, thanks for that, guys. So we're now going to move on to the songs that two of us wanted on the album. So we're going to get some conflict here. And the first one we're going to kick off with is... obviously, this gets on the album, and it's Arnold Same, and that is a song both Davie and I wanted. So let's give it a listen before we discuss it.
Arnold Same awoke from the same dream, in the same bed at the same time. Looked in the same mirror, made the same frown, and felt the same way as he did every day. An old same train, the same station, sat in the same seat, with the same nasty stain, next to same old what's his name, on his way to the same place.
Okay, that was Arnold Same, and the voice you were hearing was the dulcet tones
Red Ken.
Red Ken, that's it. Ken Livingstone, Labour MP. So, Davie, me and you wanted it on there. Paul did not. So, Paul, we'll maybe get your thoughts on why you didn't want it on the album.
It's just very... Do you know, it sounds a bit like Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd. You know, it's sort of, I've got a bike, so, and the keyboard, like say, it's like, you know, you've went away back to Blackpool in the 50s or something, and you're at the cabaret. So I think it's songs like this where you can understand that it doesn't translate maybe in other countries when you have songs like this. But anyway, good on them for just doing it anyway. You know, although I wouldn't pick it as, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's not as good as the others, I don't think.
Okay, Davie, you wanted it. What do you like about it?
You get the monotony of life coming out of Ken's voice right there. It makes you really understand what it's like just to get up to work, go to work, do what you're supposed to do, come back again, maybe go to the gym, repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah, and then, but I like when Damon Albarn comes back into his vocals are top notch at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pretty sure there's an accordion in there, and any song that's got an accordion gets in my album.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. It's and I think as Paul said, it's a riff on Arnold Lane by Pink Floyd. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a really nice short palate cleanser. And as you say, with the accordion on it, Davie, it's kind of got a Parisian musical back into it, which is lovely when Damon Albarn comes in. So yeah, I like it. It's a 2-minute palate cleanser, some nice instrumentation on it. And obviously it comes back in again after Yukon Hero finishes. So... Paul. Right, the next one is one both me and Paul wanted on the album, and it is Globe Alone. So let's give it a listen. I'll maybe kick us off on this one. So, yeah, Globe Alone. I think when you take a look at the lyrics, it seems to be about global consumerism and people always wanting to keep up with the Joneses and wanting more and more. As a song, it's very punky, it's short, there's great energy on it. I like it when the keyboards come in as well. For me, musically, it has one of the highlights of the album on it. After, I think Damon Albarn says, then he said, and there's, I think the 1.5 minute mark into the next 15, 16 seconds, there's just this accelerates and builds to crescendo. It is absolutely superb. So yeah, big thumbs up from me, Paul.
Yeah, it's a contender for best song on the album. And it's just a good sort of punk, and it has sort of sounds a wee bit like John Lydon or Johnny Rotten. You know, it sounds a bit like that. But it's good having all the sort of mad keyboards coming in as well. So it's a really good. It's almost like a precursor to Song 2 in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
What that would become in the next album. So, but yeah, really good, brilliant song. A highlight on the album, definitely.
So, Davie, you made a mistake by not selecting it. Do you want to tell us why?
So it's almost like you can see the through line from Jubilee to Song 2. Like they've got like a wee trilogy of like grunge songs, and like they perfected it with Song 2. Like this is a great song, don't get me wrong, but because we had to like cut the album down, that was one of the ones that I thought was kind of there's not really any weak songs on the album, to be fair, but there was a few I wanted to get on there, especially a couple of the B-sides.
Okay. Well, the next one that makes it, and both you guys wanted it on it, and I'm the dissenter this time, is Entertain Me.
Out of his mouth. Entertain me.
That was Entertain Me. So, Davie, I'll maybe let you kick off on this one. So why do you want it on the album?
So if you'd let it play on a bit, yeah, you would have realised. But I think this is Alex James's finest moment. The bass line going through this is absolutely phenomenal. Yep, it's his finest moment. That bass line is phenomenal. I really like it.
Okay.
Drives the song forward.
All right, thank you. Paul?
Yeah, it's a really good one. To me, it sounds really like Girls and Boys. You know, the start of it, it sounds a bit like Girls and Boys. But it's just a really sort of catchy, like a fast song, but with keyboards. And yeah, I tend to like their fast songs better, actually. So yeah, no, good song.
Yeah, actually, it's a good shout about Girls and Boys. I didn't choose it because this is one of the songs on the album which I just wasn't overly fond of. Although, yeah, I think the drums and guitar and the bass in it are great. It's just a song that, yeah, just I think it's okay. It seems to be, again, you look at the lyrics, all about partying and living for the weekend. We can all relate to that sometimes. Okay, the next one, which both me and Paul wanted on it, is Davie's favourite. And that is Yoko and Hero. Let's play it.
They will protect her. I never see you. We're never together. I love you forever.
So, Davie, what do you not like about this song?
I guess it's kind of a bit throwaway. It's not really got a lot going for it. It's just a bit,
Okay. Paul, you had it on your cup. What do you like about it?
I just think it's nice, a nice way to end the album. It's almost a bit like a lullaby of it. I can imagine going to sleep after listening to it, but it's just nice. It's sort of the instrumentation and quite electronic, but good melody. And having a female singer in there adds something to it as well, a bit like the Universal. You know,
yeah.
So the only bit that spoils it is a reprise of
Earl Train.
Earl Train.
No.
Take that out, it would be an amazing song.
Yeah, I mean, the song...
If you take the song out, it would be a 5-star album instead of 4.5.
Wow. How dare you both? I mean, the song itself seems to be about, if you look at the lyrics, it seems to be about a couple in Japan who meet at work, are now in a relationship, but they can't be a couple at work since they're at work and their hours are so long that they're only together at weekends and then Sundays. So it seems to be about that. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful song. I love the strings, the keyboard, piano, and the backing vocals especially on it. And I think it's a nice touch when the Japanese singing comes in as well. And did you know the song was originally titled Japanese workers.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the end of the song as well, with that nice, desolate, kind of plonking, echoed keyboard. Yeah, great way to end the album for me. So that gets on to our supercut. There are 2 more tracks that are making it, and the first one is wanted on there by me and Davie, and it's the B-side to Country House, and it's one that's born every minute. So let's play it.
Where it begins. Oh well, see how we grow. One gets born every minute. You're never alone. 'Cause one gets born every minute of the day.
So that was One is Born Every Minute there. Paul, you did not want it on the supercut. Why not?
It's okay. It's okay. It's not a bad song. It sounds like a B-side. It's not really because it is a B-side, but it doesn't. It just sounds a bit throwaway. So just kind of more of the same. Not really anything that you'd add on the album, I don't think.
Okay, Davie, would you like to explain the error of his ways, please?
Yeah, he had at least 4 minutes left on his own personal cut, so this fat put on it, no problem. But yeah, I put it on because it was a quick 2-minute song. I had 2 minutes to spare, and I really like it. Like the B-sides, when I got the singles, they were really good. I think was it No More Monsters? Is that right?
There was loads of good B-sides from the album. Yeah.
I think
Ultranol, yeah.
Ultranol. I think they were the B-sides for the Country House one. They had a really good set of B-sides on that. But yeah, no, it's kind of like a imagine a wee party tune or something like that you can just chuck on where you're all drinking and just have a laugh, wee drinking game or something like that. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be just about partying, doesn't it? And it's just a fun song. I like the kazoo on it, the horns on it, and there's a really good piano solo in there, about 90 seconds in as well, which is kind of reminiscent, or reminds me a little bit about the People Estranged by the Doors in there. So yeah, it's a good fun tune. I think it would have actually improved the album if it had been put on there. Okay, the last song that is getting on the album is another B-side, and this was one of the B-sides to the Universal, I think, and that is Ultranol. So let's hear it.
We're most concerned. You're staying lively, getting it lively. Yes, we guarantee that Ultranol is the new remedy. Before you go to bed, take 2 or 3. When you wake up, you'll feel better.
Okay, that is Ultranol. Davie, you didn't want to... In fact, no, Davie, you did. You did. It's me and you that wanted this on there. What do you like about Ultranol?
Again, it's like kind of similar to the last song. It's just like a knees up type of song. Cat and Dave are good though, if you like them. Ain't no pleasing you, is it, Paul?
There's no.
But I remember buying the singles, and even the singles, the CD singles themselves had a great cover. It was just like, I think it was just like the globe?
Yeah.
And on a black background, which I assume must be in space, but it was this one, Ultranol and No More Monsters were the B-sides to the Universal, I think.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And you've got the Universal on it, and you've got followed up by these 2 songs. It's like, what a great single.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great tune. This one, it seems to be a satire, on the pill popping culture we're living, and they're using Ultranol as a blanket term to signify all the wonder drugs on the market. But yeah, great tune, upbeat, a very Blur song, as you say, Knees Up Mother Brown, and But yeah, it's like it's a drug commercial for Ultranol, isn't it? But I would love to have seen this on the album. Paul, you didn't have it. You're not a fan of it?
I certainly had the itchy pimples when I was that age.
So, Paul, what about you?
It was okay. It's just really, I suppose, because I hadn't heard a few of the B-sides before, you're kind of probably going to go with the ones that you know, really. So I don't think it's a bad song. It's just, it wasn't as good as the others that we chose. Actually, like Ludwig is a bonus track, but I was in the minority there, I think. So, but but no, the good songs. They weren't bad songs. It was just really choosing the right songs for the album and the right length as well.
Yeah, well, we do have a couple of songs which did not make it, and one that you wanted, Davie, was from the album, and it's Fade Away, but only you wanted it on there. Let's give it a quick listen. What do you like about it, Davie?
Just the orchestration on it. You don't really get that these days. You get a brass band on there to back you up. I really love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's nice horns in it. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I like the line in it, or lines. He noticed he had visible lines. She worried about her behind. It seems to be about a married couple who live together, but lead completely separate lives. I've just never been a fan of the song, and when I used to have it on CD, tend to just skip past it, I have to say. Paul, you?
Yeah, I think it's quite a good song. It's
not enough to fill the last 4 minutes of his album.
That's the thing. I wanted to leave people wanting more, come back for more. So it's a good song. Just there's so many tracks to choose from, isn't there? So it's hard. So no, there's nothing really bad I can say about the song. It's a good song, but I wouldn't have put it on the album.
Alrighty. The next one which didn't make it, and I selected this one, it was St. Louis. So let's hear it.
St. Louis song, something is wrong. I kill that clown, all the righteous down. The nightclubs are empty, people look at each other like me.
Okay, so that was St. Louis, and I really don't know what the song's about. When you look at the lyrics, maybe it's a guy in prison who's wanting to die. I don't know, but I would love to have seen this on the album. I love the guitar sound on this. The background vocals are great. And maybe the sound of it is a nod to the sound of their next self-titled album. It's maybe a bit more like that. But I think it's glorious when that lead guitar and the drums kick in around about just after 15 seconds or so. For me, it would have been a great addition to the album. You guys didn't want it though, so any reason for that?
No, I bought all the CD singles when they came out, and I really enjoyed this song. Purely we just can't fit on the album timing wise, but it's got a lovely like country and western feel. I genuinely like it as a B-side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's quite a good song as well. Was it on the Universal series single? I'm trying to remember.
It was Charmless Man, I think, this one.
It wasn't Charmless Man. No, it's. Do you know what? It sounds like when I was listening to it, it waits till it comes in slowly, the music, and it sounded a bit like what would become Coffee and Tea on the next album.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit like that at the start.
Yeah.
So I think what you were saying, Stephen, is right. I think it's almost like.
Yeah. Okay.
Introduction.
Yeah. Okay. One that Paul you wanted, Ludwig. So let's hear that. Paul, what do you like about this?
I just liked it was just very different for them. It sounded a bit reggae, sort of. It sounded a bit like 10cc, actually. I just liked, or almost like sort of rock and roll from like 50s. So I just liked it because it was different for them, and just a really different style. So that's why I liked it. Yeah.
Davie, were you tempted to put it on your cut?
No. I do like it. It's a good B-side. It does what it says on the tin by being a B-side, but it doesn't deserve to be in the supercut, to be fair, for me. But no, it's the musicianship in it. It's definitely. I think it's like Blur experimenting, and it's good to see them experimenting because that would show how they evolved in later albums. By changing their music around, so I think it was just something for them just to try out, just to see if they could do, and then they've just built on it from there. So it's a great enough B-side, but not for me for the album, I'm afraid.
Yeah, same for me. I think this is the very definition of a throwaway B-side, and I'll leave it at that. So, Davie, you wanted No Monsters in Me, so let's hear it. Okay, Davie, what do you like about it?
Yeah, I think that could fit seamlessly into the album, to be fair. Like if they popped that in the middle of it, you would never know that was never there to begin with.
Yeah.
I really like it. Again, I think it was the same B-side as the Universal, I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Paul, was it in your thoughts?
Not really. No. No, it's like I say, because there was so many tracks to choose from that it just wasn't that memorable, really.
Okay.
It's not that it's a bad song or anything.
This actually, Davie, came very close to making my cut, but again, just for time.
You kept Chico and Hero.
Yeah, because it's a better song, Davie, in my opinion. But this was maybe the final song after I made my initial cut of it and I had to trim it down. So, great tune, good energy, punky, like it. So, guys, we've got two more songs to look at, and these two never got any votes. So the first one is from the original album, and it is Top Man.
So let me introduce it's naughty by nature. I'm doubles and chaser.
That was Top Man. Paul?
Like I was saying earlier, it's like the middle of the album and it sort of has a wee lull there. And it just doesn't really go anywhere, the song. A bit bland. And It's certainly not a top song anyway, Top Man.
But your favourite clothing shop?
Yes. Is it still open now? Top Man.
It's shut now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah. Davie, what do you think about the song?
I really like it, and this was the last song that got cut from the album. Once everything else had been trimmed, this was me. I was in a toss-up between this and what was the one you were slagging? Was it Fade Away?
Fade Away, yeah.
So I was down to those two songs, and I spent a good 30 seconds debating which one to go. In fact, no, it was probably a bit longer than that. I was like, I kept listening back and forth, like which make it, and I would be happy with either of them, but purely time constraints, got rid of it. But I really like it.
I take the reverse view. I think it's boring. Don't like it. Never did. And I remember when it came out. It's quite interesting that both this and Fade Away. They're what tracks 4 and 5, and they're my two, 5 and 6 are they? Yes, that's right. And they're my least favourite songs in the album. I just think, happy to get rid of both of them. I mean, it seems to be about a poser who likes his night out, but is a fool. It's a strange one at that backing. It's like some native Indians humming. Okay, the last song, and nobody voted for it. It is Dan Abnormal.
Such a Dan Abnormal, not normal at all. It's not his fault we made him. We're imitation, try to hate ya, but it's not his fault. Dan watches
I'll maybe kick us off on this one. So the lyrics seem to lean towards, I think, the media blaming movies and TV shows for society's ills. I actually think it's a decent song. I like the line in it. You know, I want was it McBurger and chips, or I'll blow you to bits. That's great.
It's falling down not around about that time.
That's exactly what. I think that was the year before. So that's exactly what I think of. But it's got a nice 1950s sci-fi B-movie keyboard sound all over it, which is good. And I found it an interesting fact.
I know what it is.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
Is it an anagram?
It isn't.
Damon Albarn.
It is indeed. And Abnormal is Damon Albarn, yeah. So, I think it's a decent song. What about you guys? Were you close to putting it on your cut?
Yeah, no, it's a really good song for me. Again, I just thought it would be nice to, on the supercut, to have a couple of the B-sides, which were quite strong as well. But no, it's a fantastic song.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good song as well. It's just, you can only put... But I suppose it's a testament to how good this album is, that there's good songs that don't make it as well. You know, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So no, it's a good song.
Okay, guys, thank you. So we've now decided on our supercut of the album, which comes in at 50 minutes exactly with 14 songs, and those 14 songs are... Stereotypes, Country House, Best Days, Charmless Man, Universal, Mr. Robinson's Quango, He Thought of Cars, It Could Be You, Arnold Same, Global Loan, Entertain Me, Yoko and Hero, One Born Every Minute, and Ultranol. So guys, how would you rate the supercut of the album out of 5?
I would probably keep it the same, actually. 4.5. It's a good cut. It's got some extra songs on there that's not on the original, and definitely up there.
Okay, Paul?
I would put mine up to 4 from 3.5. It's an increase for me. It's up to 4.
Yep, for me, it is an improvement as well. Do I go up to 5? I'd probably move it from a 4 to 4.5. It's definitely better. It's nudging that 5 for me. It's nudging it. So, guys, do any of you prefer... Well, I think we're all in agreement. We prefer the supercut over the original album release.
Yeah, I think you two love it, and I'm 50. I'd listen to either of them, no problem.
Okay. Excellent. So we'll maybe share our own playlists of the album. So we've got an agreed TTMS supercut, but what about your own version? So Davie, I'll start with you. What songs did you pick on your one? If you want to just quickly take us through them.
Stereotypes, Country House, Best Days. Then I would put in Ultranol in there. Charmless Man. Fade Away, and then One Born Every Minute. Then I would second side be Mr. Robinson's Quango, He Thought of Cars, It Could Be You, Ernal Same, Entertain Me, and I would finish off with the Universal.
Okay, the big ballad to finish it off.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, just popped into my mind. I remember the band playing that at the European MTV Awards, and Damon Albarn had injured himself somehow, so he was walking around with a cane. So I remember him performing that with a cane. Yeah. Anyway, Paul, what's your cut?
Stereotypes, then Country House, then Best Days, Charmless Man, The Universal, It Could Be You, Global Own, Yoko and Hero, Entertain Me, He Thought of Cars, Mr. Robinson's Quango, and finish with Ludwig because it's just really different. I thought it would be a nice song to end the album with. And it's like what Davie was saying, it was 46 minutes, so I did have 4 more minutes, but I just thought, leave the public wanting more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple of B-sides on there that we never discussed either. I think, is it The Horrors? That nearly got into mind, but again, for timing, but I really like that. It's quite haunting.
Yeah, there were so many good B-sides from it, I have to say. So can't include them all, unfortunately.
I'd have to say the special edition of The Great Escape would probably be bumped up to 5 stars.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
Especially the live versions of the songs in For Tomorrow live with the brass section. What is far superior to than the Modern Life of Rubbish version.
Actually, a lot of the songs live were better. I remember even the 4 songs that were on the Country House, the live CD there, and that was from their Mile End gig.
Life on it, didn't it?
Yeah, and that was great. The horns that they kind of put on Part Life as well. So yeah, a lot of the stuff was better live. Yeah. So my cut of the album would have been... I actually would have kicked off with Country House. So start off with the big hit single. Then the B-side of that, so One Born Every Minute. So a little bit of fun and jauntiness before taking it down to the ballad of Best Days, then ramping up again with Ultranol, keep the energy going with Mr. Robinson's Quango. I think we then have He Thought of Cars, keep those 2 songs side by side. And then a bit of an energy blast with It Could Be You before we, I think, finish off that side with Ernal Same. Starting off the second side with a jaunty number, so Charmless Man. Then The Universal, pick it up again with Stereotypes. I'll get St. Louis on there, followed by a punk blast of Global Own before finishing with Davie's favourite, Yoko and Hero. Okay, so thank you for sharing your cuts of the album, guys. So it's the final questions. So the first one is, when should Blur have called it a day to maintain their reputation, legacy, etc., etc.? Paul?
I suppose I can only go on probably when my own interest waned, so I would probably say after the Blur album, 97, after that album, because I remember, like, the singles were really good off the album, but I remember at the time being really disappointed with the album.
Which album, sorry?
Blur, the one...
Oh, you were disappointed?
Yeah, with the album. Although the singles were brilliant. I remember being disappointed with the album, and I never really, after that, I didn't really take an interest. So for me, it would probably be, after that album, that would be a call it a day.
So about 97, 98 then?
Yeah.
Okay, Davie?
Yeah, well, they did break up in my lifetime, and I was absolutely gutted. The Think Tank album, I think Graham chucked his toys out the pram. I think it was Fatboy Slim was producing it.
Yeah.
Aye. And I was gutted when I found out they would be no longer. I thought even that was like, even without Graham, it was still a great album. I loved quite a lot. Well, the songs on it were really good. And the final song on the album, which was, I think, was the only one that Graham actually played on, "Battery in Your Leg," was a superb song. And then that was then finished. And then I was delighted when they came back with the Magic Whip, and I went on tour and I actually got to see them for the first time.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should have. It wasn't a good time for them to break up, in my opinion. I'd go back and see them live in a minute, and they release an album next week, I would buy it, no problem.
Yeah, for me, I kind of agree with Paul in that I think Blur is those four guys, and it should always be just those four guys. So I thought it was a mistake to continue after Graham Coxon left. After forgetting the name, was it 13? The album released in 1999. Yep, 13, which is a really good album. So for me, they would have finished with an excellent album there, and fine, and quite happy. Obviously, they've come back and doing live shows and everything again. But as a recording band, I thought that would have been the best time to do it, and I thought it was a mistake to do an album without Graham Coxon. And the final question for you guys is, I asked the Blur fan club Facebook group to pick their favourite song from The Great Escape. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you reckon was the most popular choice?
If it wasn't the obvious one, I would say they've probably gone with He Thought of Cars.
Okay, Paul, what do you think?
I'll probably go for the obvious one, Universal.
You are both very, very perceptive. Because with nearly a third of the votes, the Universal is the top choice. And with about a quarter of the votes, He Thought of Cars was second. Followed by Best Days, and then all the rest are, we've got pretty similar kind of votes there. So yeah, the Universal and He Thought of Cars were the two most popular choices. So well done. I'd just like to thank the people. I think there was nearly making this up, 200 people or so on the Blur fan club Facebook page who voted. So thank you all to them, and all those who left comments, including Paul Bishop, Caleb Bryant, Jana Malley, and Anna Casano. So yeah, thanks for contributing. Woohoo! We're nearly at the end. So how have you found this, guys?
It's been really great. Going back and listening to the album again. As I say, in this new millennium, I've kind of got out of the habit of listening to albums from start to finish. More like a wee treat when a random song from one of these albums appears on your shuffle. But no, to go back and listen to it again and just remind myself how good it was in the 90s. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, Paul?
Yeah, really enjoyed it too. And like when I was listening, because I hadn't heard that one for years, when I was listening to it again, just it's a really good album. And they did really good stuff, and it just reminds me of that time, because it was a really good time for music.
Yeah.
You know, it was a real change then. It was getting away from the sort of 80s sound more, you know, because it takes a couple of years in the next decade for the previous decade sound to change, and it felt like this was changing then.
Yeah.
Do you know what's quite funny as well? Like Blur and Oasis, and they're on the albums. The first single was the second track on both albums as well.
That's right.
So they seem to be competing it out.
Yeah, for me, I've loved revisiting this. I think my cut of the album, the playlist, has been my choice of music when visiting the gym the last couple of weeks, so I've really been enjoying that. One thing I'm gutted about, on my Amazon list for buying records, Great Escape's been on there, and it's always been on there 20 quid. And obviously it's preparing for this podcast, do you know what, I'm going to buy it, and ever since then it's been hovering about 25 quid. Almost as if they knew, huh? So yeah, it's quite annoying, so I'll get it at some point. Anywho, thanks guys. So in terms of upcoming episodes, we've got stuff coming up from ELO, John Lennon, Smashing Pumpkins. What else have we got, Paul?
George Harrison.
What else? Prince. So we've actually got quite a variety of stuff coming up. So just be sure to subscribe, and you'll get a podcast every week. I think we've got some of the Hidden Prime Cuts mini shows coming up as well. So we've got Oasis, we've got Muse, REM. So yeah, they'll be coming up as well. And we've also on our YouTube channel, you can check out some of our ranking videos. So we've now got on there Oasis's UK singles and Queen's UK singles. You can listen to the TT. You having fun there, Davie?
What?
Sounds like you're doing some press ups or something.
I've not done anything. I'm just watching the telly.
And yeah, if you want to listen to the TTMF supercut of the album, you can in our website www.drummingmusicalfat.com, where you can find all our podcast episodes and all the TTMF supercuts and original albums for all the albums that we feature. You can listen to the podcast on all major podcast providers, including Apple, Google, and Spotify. If you're going to leave some reviews, make them good. You can also catch up with us on our Facebook page and on Instagram. Do you agree or disagree with the comments we've made on The Great Escape? Contact us to let us know, and you can leave us voicemail via Anchor or email us at trimthemusicfat@gmail.com, or you could indeed join our Facebook group. Until next time, keep trimming.